Hey everybody. In this video, I'm just going to be reviewing the problems that you guys saw in the Check for Understanding Google form. So if there was anything in this Google form here that you did not feel okay with, I'm actually going to go through all of them right now. And feel free to just skip ahead if there's anything, like if you don't need to listen to all of them, feel free to kind of skip ahead and move around in the video for whatever you need to listen to. All right, so I'm going to get started here for number one. How much interest will Hannah earn in 4 years if she deposits 630 into a savings account at 6.5% simple interest? So the first thing I want to call your attention to here is that the 6.5%, make sure you got that that's a 0.065, not just a 0.65. When you move that decimal back twice, it's a 0.065. We have the principal amount, we have the 630, and we know that it's going to be in the account for 4 years. Since it wants to know how much interest will Hannah earn, we're going to stop once we multiply these three numbers. So we're going to take the principal amount times the 0.065 times the 4 years that it's going to be in the account. And so the interest earned is going to be 163.8. So 163.80 for this one. 163.80. Now we're done with that because it just asked how much interest would be earned. If it had asked us how much money does Hannah have in her account at the end of those 4 years, then we'd need to go back and add this in. But since it just wants to know how much interest will she earn, we're going to stop, and that's the final answer. Okay? All right, for the next one, Terry invested $2,200 into the stock market for 2 years. If the investment earned 12% simple interest, how much interest did Terry earn in 2 years? So once again, since it's only asking for how much interest, we're just going to multiply these three numbers in the calculator and then we'll be done. All right, so I'm going to clear the calculator here. This is the principal amount. Oops, sorry, let me clear that, my bad. 2,200 times 0.12. That's 12%, and for 2 years, so this is going to earn $528 in interest, 528. And that's going to be the answer for this one. Only if it asks like how much, like what's the balance, like how much does Terry have invested at the end of the 2 years, then you would add it back in. But since it's simply asking just what's the interest earned at the end of those 2 years, we are done with that calculation. That's what the formula tells us, PRT. It multiplies together to tell us the interest earned, okay? Now for this one, this is probably the one that a lot of people are going to be skipping ahead to and looking for, because for this one, I want to know what the interest rate is. I actually tell you how much interest was earned over here, and then I gave you the principal amount. It says Malik deposited 1,050, and it earned 241.5 over here. So for this problem, anytime I give you the actual interest and you're trying to find the rate, the calculation that you want to do first is to actually multiply these purple numbers. So I'm going to do 1,050 times 4. And that's where I'm going to get 4,200. So on this side, I have a coefficient of R. I have a 4,200 R. And then over here, I have the equals 241.50. And let me just see if I can actually copy. Nope. Okay. Let me write that in there. 241.50. So now, anytime you're trying to solve an equation for this variable over here, you just simply divide both sides by this number. So we're going to divide both sides by a 4,200, and I'll put a 4,200 over here. And then we can see what that looks like in the calculator. I'm going to do the interest, the 241, and I'm just going to divide it by the product of my principal and time. So I'm going to divide it by the 2,400 or 4,200. Now here, this tells me the rate. So I have a 0.0575, okay? Now, if this is my rate and I want to write this as a percentage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this decimal over twice. And we can see here that it would be a 5.75% interest rate, 5.75% interest rate. Now for the answer choices, if you see the 5.75, just go ahead and pick that. If you don't see decimals, then this would round up to a 6%. But if it has the 5.75 in there, just pick that. I'll never give you both this and a 6% and ask you to pick between the two. So for this one, that's going to be how we find the interest rate. All right, so this one's kind of similar, all right? And maybe now that we've done number 3, you'll be okay with number 4. The only difference with number 4 is that there's a slight calculation. Oh no, never mind. That was going to be in a different one where there was paying taxes. So actually for number 4, we're all set. Kelly Ray's inheritance from her great-grandmother was $220,000, so that's the principal amount right here. If Kelly Ray is going to invest this into account that earns 18,260 in simple interest, that's going to go over here. It's telling us the simple interest earned. Kind of like over here for this one, it told us what was earned. So I'll underline it. If it tells you the amount of interest that was already earned, it's going to go over on this side, okay? And then it says also here every year, so that's why I just put a 1 year here. So similar concept, we would just multiply the purple numbers together, but since 220,000 times 1 is just 220,000, that one's going to be pretty easy. We don't need the calculator. So here we have 220,000 R, and then over here on this side, it equals the 18,260. So all we need to do is simply divide the interest earned, which is over here. We're going to divide that by the product over here. So now we're just going to divide both sides by the 220,000. All right. And if we divide over here, the 220,000 cancels out and R is all by itself. So this cancels out. And when we divide this, we're going to have solved for R. So in the calculator, we're going to do the 18,260 and it gets divided by the 220,000. And here, that's 0.083. And when we bring that over here, oops, it's not pasting. Sorry about that, y'all. Let's see if it'll paste this time. Nope, I'll just write it in 0.083. So when we move the decimal over twice, that's going to be at 8.3%. So these are ones that I'm expecting a lot of people to need to watch for, just because some of us were unsure of what to do to try to find the rate. But anytime that happens, you just multiply the principal times time, and then you just divide both sides by that number. All right, cool. Now we're on number 5. So Mr. Pham has $410,000 in a retirement account that earns 3.85% simple interest each year. So we have the principal amount, we have the rate, and then it says each year. So that's why I'm going to put a 1. So find the amount earned in 1 year by this investment. Now, if we want to find the amount earned in 1 year, we simply want to know the interest amount. So once we multiply these 3 numbers, we are going to be done in the calculator. So for this one, we're going to take the 410,000. And since it was 3.85, I'm going to move that decimal back and it's times a 0.0385. And then just for 1 year, so just times the 1. So this will earn 15,785 in interest. 15,785. We'll put a money sign there. And that's how much interest the account would earn in that 1 year. Friendly reminder that if it asked how much money does Mr. Pham have now total at the end of this year, then we would need to add these 2 numbers together. But for the umpteenth time, it is still just asking what's the interest, and then again, what's the interest, all right? The amount earned in 1 year, that's just interest only. Now, finally, for number 6, we're going to see one where we need to add it back in, okay, y'all? So for this one right here, for number 6, when Melissa was born, her parents put in the $8,000 into a college fund account. It earned 9% interest, and we want to see how much money, the total amount in the account after 18 years. So when we multiply these 3 numbers, we're just going to get the extra interest that it earns. So first we'll do the $8,000 that the parents put in times the 0.9 interest rate for 18 years, which means it will earn an additional $12,960. So the interest earned is $12,960. This question, though, didn't ask how much interest is earned. It asks find the total amount in the account. So we're going to take the interest earned and we're going to add the $8,000 that the parents already put in there. So the total for this one is the 20,960. So 20,960. Okay. And now for number 7, this is the one that involved like a slight calculation before you do anything. And it's because when somebody here, Raj, won $900,000 in a lottery, first you've got to pay a bunch of it to the government and taxes. So the first thing we got to do is take the 900,000 that Raj won, and we're going to subtract 350,000 in taxes. So really, Raj gets to keep 550,000. So he invested that remaining money into an account at 4.25% interest. How much money is in the account if Raj makes no deposits or withdrawals for 2 years? And what that means is that Raj isn't going to put any money in or take any money out. It's just going to sit for 2 years. So now I'm just going to take this and multiply times the 0.0425 times the 2 years. And this is going to be $46,750. So 46,750 is going to be the interest that Raj earns on the account. Now, because it asks how much money is in the account, we need to basically add these two numbers together. Because Raj already put in the 550,000 and now it's earned this much money in interest, so we're going to add them together. So we'll add in the money that was already in the account here, and we can see 596,750 is going to be the final answer here. So 596,750. Okay. All right, cool. And now here we're on the last one. So if Mona opened a savings account with a $500 deposit and a simple interest rate of 5.6%, if there were no deposits or withdrawals, meaning the money is just going to sit there, how much money is in the account after 8.5 years? So once again, once we find this number here, this is going to be just the interest. We will need to add it because it says how much money is in the account. So first, let's just take the $500, the principal amount, times the 0.056 for the 5.6 rate, and then times 8.5 years. So this is going to earn an additional 238 in interest. So if it earned 238 and it started out with 500, we're going to be at 738 now. So we're just adding those up. Okay, that was just a big plus sign. And that's how much money would be in the account now after the 8.5 years. And so this would be the final answer for that one, 738. So hopefully you feel a little bit better about these questions. If there was anything on here that you were unsure of, hopefully this video helped. And that's it. Thank you for watching.